Hey guys, welcome into another episode of 410 Sports Talk. My name is James Haskell. I'm here with my co-host, Glenn Martin. Glenn, I'm really excited about this one. This one is the one I'm most excited about.
Really? Why is that?
Because of some good news looking in the future, man. COVID-19 can sometimes get to you, but to know that hopefully there's an end in sight and that the season has been laid out for the NFL, man, it just gets me all excited.
Yes, yeah, and this schedule in particular kind of ramped that up a little bit because I think we're both pretty happy with what we're looking at, and it helps when you have a 14-2 Ravens team that seems to have gotten better in the offseason. So hopes are high, and so let's jump right into it. So I'm just going to quickly go down the schedule, and then we'll discuss some highlights of it. So. They open the season week 1 at home against your Cleveland Browns, Jimbo. Then they go on the road at Houston in week 2, take on the Texans. Week 3, this is a big one. On Monday night at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll be back to this one.
Against your boy.
4 at Washington Redskins. Week 5 at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. Week 6 on the road taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Week 7 at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then week 8, a bye. So right in the middle there, right smack dab in the middle, they get their bye. I know Harbaugh is probably pretty happy about that. Week 9 at the Indianapolis Colts. Week 10 on Sunday Night Football at New England Patriots. Week 11 at home, the rematch, taking on the Tennessee Titans. We got some payback to give them boys. Then we go week 12 at Pittsburgh Steelers at 8:20 on Thanksgiving night.
Yeah.
Woo! Last time we played on Thanksgiving, I was at that game, and it was glorious. So I'm pretty excited about that. Then week 13, Thursday Night Football at home against the Cowboys. Not often do you see the Cowboys coming into Baltimore, so that's kind of cool. And then week 14 at the Cleveland Browns on Monday Night Football. So you see 3 straight primetime games right there. Thursday, Monday. So we'll come back to that. Then week 15 at home against maybe the worst team in the league, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Week 16 at home against the New York G-Men. The Giants are coming to town. And then they end the year on the road taking on the Cincinnati Bengals in week 17. So, Jimmy, tell me, what immediately jumps off the page to you?
Yeah, so I just want to say so much different this year looking at this schedule in comparison to years past. Now that we've had a 14-2 schedule under our record under our belt, I kind of feel like, as crazy as this sounds, like psychologically in my mind, that's now my expectation. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at 16-0 when I see this schedule come out. I mean, 14-2.
I do want to highlight a couple things. I think that as far as most difficult stretch, you already kind of talked about it. You got Titans at Pittsburgh, Cowboys at Cleveland. I think that's a pretty tough 4-game stretch. Yeah. But I also want to draw your attention to a couple other games. I think that Philly game, week 6, is going to be another tough one. I think week 1 is going to be a tough one because it's week 1. Everyone's going to be hyped up. Even though we're going to be at home, I still think it's going to be a toughie. And I'll tell you what, one other thing. If we are in a game-winning situation wherein we're in the playoffs, out of the playoffs, or have the number 1 seed, don't have the number 1 seed, and it comes down to week 17, and if Joe Burrow does anything to mess with the destiny of the Ravens, I will never forgive him, okay?
Well, good news is I don't think that Week 17 game is going to matter much, and I think we'll be talking more about the decision to bench our key players or not to bench them since that became a hot-button topic to end last season. But I'll say this. They got a lot of primetime games. They got 5 total, 2 Monday night games, right, and 2 Thursday and 1 Sunday.
I'll tell you what, the NFL knows what sells, man, and Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens offense, sells. But one thing, Glenn, before you get into this more, I'm getting nervous about the way you're talking right now because last year you were really high on the Browns.
Yeah.
You said, and I quote, "There's no way they don't make the playoffs."
No, I said there's no way they don't go 500, which I mean, Holy smokes. I don't know what happened. Look, I wasn't the only one wrong about the Browns last year, but there's no way that happens again. There's no way that they're this bad again. But why are we talking about the Browns? Let's finish up here with the Ravens.
I'm talking about your kiss of death, Glenn.
Oh, come on. I was also pretty high on the Ravens last year, and Lamar may win an MVP, and how'd that go?
That's true. All right, fair enough. You got your credentials back. Keep going.
All right, so the first one that jumps off the page to me is going to be the Chiefs game, Week 3, at home, Monday night. I mean, whoo, this one's going to be good.
Yes.
This is the one. If there's one game, and, honestly, 14-2, they had such a good offseason. They that defense looks just terrifying, and I this is the game that worries me the most. But outside of the Chiefs game, I'm feeling pretty good if you just look at each game individual. Just as an individual, and the fact that they end the season, Jaguars, Giants, Bengals. If there is still something on the line, I'm feeling pretty good about how those last 3 opponents line up.
Yeah, for sure. No, I couldn't agree with you more. As I look at, as I mentioned, I think that Philly game is going to be tricky, difficult. I tell you what, I think, and you mentioned this before the show, this year the Sunday night game against New England is in New England. I don't think it's going to matter. I think we're going to beat the pants off of New England, and nothing will fulfill me more. I mean, what else can make you happier than a Sunday night? You got work the next day, but you're staying up late to watch some football, and the Ravens are just destroying Bill Belichick and his cutoff sleeve hoodie.
I would love it. I would absolutely love it. Now, I might love that Chiefs if they win the Chiefs game or the Tennessee Titans game in Week 11 a little bit more, because that Titans game still stings a little bit. And I want to see – and then before that, the Chiefs, So I want to see some get back this year with those two teams in particular, because they were able to kind of right the wrong of losing to the Browns and then bounce back and beat them later on in the season. But they haven't righted that wrong against the Chiefs yet, and they certainly haven't against the Titans when they knocked them out. So those are the two games that I really want to see them put a good performance together. And obviously, anytime you're playing on Thanksgiving, you want to win. That's the kind of the top of the night. If you have a nice, good meal, you're feeling nice and fat and happy, you're laying down on the recliner, and you turn the game. If we lose, that would just put a damper on the whole evening. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we can't have that. But one last thing before I am done here, it's pretty cool. I don't know if it was because of the complaining or what that the organization was doing, but it's nice to see we do have a home Monday night game this year, because it seemed like we weren't getting one for whatever reason for far too long. And so it's really cool that not only do we have one at home, but it's against the defending Super Bowl champ Chiefs. So it's pretty cool. Yeah,
no, I'm excited for that. And one other thing, we talked about that stretch between Titans, Pittsburgh, Cowboys, Cleveland. I think at the beginning of the season, you talked about the Chiefs game being a tough game, but if you just look at the quarterbacks, the first 3 games of the season, we play Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, and then Patrick Mahomes. Those are 3 really good young quarterbacks. Well, some people.
Hold on. Did you just call Baker a really good young quarterback?
Let me rephrase my statement. Some people think those are 3 really good quarterbacks. I personally, and I'm on record, record this, replay it wherever you want, because we all know that I've been saying this since last year. Baker's not a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. Blow me up on the comments if you want. I will be right, just like I was last year.
Don't make me defend Baker. I don't like doing it, but I will if you force me to.
Oh, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Well, all I'm saying is he set the rookie quarterback record and was the Heisman Trophy winner the year before that. So he had one down year, and you're ready to throw him out to the trash.
Yep, it's all about what's in here. It's all about what's in here. So anyway, all I'm trying to say is this, is that I think that could be a tricky 3-game, not skid, but I mean, that's a tricky 3-game streak, because Browns are a division game. Houston, Deshaun Watson's team admittedly probably got worse, right? They lost.
It's hard to get better losing Hopkins.
Yeah, but still a good quarterback. And then, of course, the Chiefs game, Mahomes is just magic. I can't even find any way to hate on him anymore.
And they just went and got themselves a heck of a running back to add to those incredible pieces.
Let me ask you some questions, Glenn, here, because it sounds like you're really high on it. I'm high on it as well. I'm not right now, at least. I'm not going to ask you for your full game or full season prediction yet. I might in a little bit, but
Okay.
let's talk about these streaks here. So Browns at home, Houston away, Chiefs at home. At the end of that streak, what's going to be our record?
I tell you, if they come out of that 2-1, I mean, I think you got to be satisfied. If 3-0 would be great, but I think you got to come out of that 2-1 because there's 2 out of 3 are at home, and the Houston team, I believe, got a little bit worse, and we were able to handle them last season. I think if you remember that Houston game, it was bad. It was tough to watch.
Yeah.
And I don't think they've gotten better. So I would have to say at least 2-1, and optimistically, you hope for 3-0 there. Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs game's not going to be easy. They are an extremely talented team. So, but the good news is we got them at home, and that could be just the difference that we need to get that edge.
I'll tell you what, I think that we are going to go 2-1 here. This is crazy, and I hate the Browns. I think we're going to lose to the Browns in week 1.
Man, if we lose to the Browns in week 1, you can't possibly still think the Browns are going to not make the playoffs, right?
No, they're not making the playoffs. Saying that, okay? But this is all I'm saying. Follow my logic here is I think that we do have some young guys. While we have a lot of leaders, we have a lot of –
Think about who's returning on offense. Everyone.
I understand that, but I do think that everyone gets their humble pie, and I think that this will be the best thing for our season. I think that Lamar can come into the season. Look, Lamar is a humble dude by nature. He's a hard worker by nature. Everybody – I mean, how impossible is it to not – be feeling yourself when you're Lamar Jackson right now?
Yeah.
Right? So they could serve us a little bit of humble pie. It's their Super Bowl, right? I mean,
it's a little early to call it their Super Bowl because they do play us twice, but
yeah, but they're playing for their new head coach. They're playing for the new GM. OBJ is going to want to, prove himself.
You think, yeah, but here's the thing. Who do you have more confidence in getting their team ready to play week 1 in a truncated offseason than a team that's bringing back the coach of the year, 2 of the highest paid, if not the highest paid coordinators and very sought after coordinators, not to mention their entire offense outside of Marshall Yanda. The majority of their defense and then the pieces they did add, to me, are all upgrades. I feel like I have a lot more confidence in Harbaugh having his team ready week 1 than Stefanski, who is really an unknown commodity. And I love the talent on the Browns team. But I think it's a little bit I think they're going to have some growing pains early maybe, but they're talented, man. They're going to be tough to beat. So I'm not saying it's a stretch to say that they could beat us. I mean, it's possible. They might be – I mean, outside the Chiefs and Ravens, they may end up being the 3rd most talented team just on paper. If you just look at paper. And, yeah, if they can put that together, man, they're going to be tough. But to me, I think that they're in a tough spot playing us week 1 with this veteran of a coaching staff and team.
Let me solidify my argument with this, and then we can move on. So the reason I came up with that as an option is, based on the points that I mentioned, but also I really don't see us losing to Houston week 2, and I really think we're going to be ramped up to play the Chiefs at home, and I think we're going to be 2-1, in that 3-game stretch. That really only leaves me the option of the Browns. As crazy as it sounds, in my head, it seems more likely that we would trip up in week 1 than we would when we're tuned up in week 3 to see the Chiefs at home. So,
okay. Well, see, when I look at trip up games, if I'm looking for a kind of a stumbling block, I would look to week 4 at the Redskins, only because I feel like they're going to go into that game. Say they beat the Chiefs Monday night. They're feeling really good. They're having a great week of practice. They're happy. But they're looking at this Redskins team that's probably not going to have a great record at this point, and they're going to probably look at them like, man, we're going to go over there and run through these guys. And they got a veteran coach now at Ron Rivera. I think they're going to be not your old Redskins where it's going to be a bunch of younger head coaches maybe that are getting their first opportunity. This guy knows how to get a team ready to play, and I just think that that's the spot I look at as like a stumble, a team that we should never lose to, but I think – those classic letdown games. So, to me, the Washington is a letdown game. Do you look on the schedule anywhere else and see one of those classic letdown situations? Yeah,
you're going to think I'm crazy for this one too. But it's at home, and it's against the worst team in the league. I can see that Jags game only because, look, I think when we're tuned up from week 11 So Titans week 11, Pittsburgh week 12, Cowboys week 13, and Cleveland week 14. I'm telling you, we run the table. We're going to be 4-0 after that. And I think we're going to be at home against the Jags. And once again, I said about the Browns, even more so later in the season for the Jags, this could be their legitimate Super Bowl, right? They're not making the playoffs. They have nothing to lose. They're to Baltimore with, like I said, playing loose and free, nothing to lose, no playoff hopes on the line. And they squeak one out. As impossible as that is for me to envision, I can still see that being a potential outcome. So I see that as a quote-unquote like a trip-up game, if you will, or a trap game.
Okay. I mean, I just don't know I don't know who they have that could – I mean, Fournette, at this point, I don't even know if he wants to be there. So to even expect him to still be playing, much less playing at like a really high level in Week 15, I don't even think that's a guarantee or something you could even write down with his injury history and his obvious – they chose to not pick up his fifth-year option. So the team's obviously moving away from this guy. So I just don't know who on offense can get it done enough to put up points because I don't think there's any doubt that the Ravens have a low floor on how many points they're going to be putting up. With this offense, their floor is low to me. So you have to be able to at least score 20 points to me to be able to beat. I don't know how in the world the Jags could score 20 points against our defense. Unless their shoelaces get tied together, unless it's like the old Buffalo Wild Wings commercial where the guy hits the sprinkler head and it pops up and trips our players. I don't know how in the world the Jags can put up 20 points. But crazier things have happened. I look at that Cleveland game and I feel kind of bad for them because we're coming off back-to-back Thursday games. It's kind of like a mini bye. Yep. And if we still need that Cleveland game, I think we're going to go into Cleveland and beat the pants off of them. Just because I feel like that game's going to mean something in Week 14, and we're going to crush some hopes and dreams in the factory of sadness that is the Cleveland Browns Stadium.
Well, I tell you what, I don't think that this schedule could bode any better for us. As an organization, like you said, the bye is right there in the middle where we like it. There's no long streaks of being away or even being at home. There's a lot of back and forth. So aside from that, though, my most intriguing game, so the game that I want to watch the most.
If you say anything but Week 3, you're crazy.
Yeah, the Thanksgiving game is going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah, that will be too.
But, and I want to see Ben back there eating a turkey leg while he's trying to throw a football in a beer or something. I don't know.
I just see him with a squirt bottle instead of Gatorade in it. It's just gravy, and he's just squeezing it into his mouth.
Oh, do you remember the helmets? With the beer on it just, like you said, it's just gravy. Like, oh, geez, whiz, man. Gosh.
Yeah.
No mercy.
Is it the Chiefs? Is it got to be the Chiefs?
It is the Chiefs, and we've got to get – I tell you what, we've got to get the monkey off our back. I think that while it's only Week 3, I know this is crazy, and Harbaugh says the next game is the most important game. I think psychologically that might be – that and the Titans game might be the two most important games of the season because we've lost to the Chiefs 2 years in a row, and we lost to the Titans most recently. So I'll say this about that Titans game. Feeling bad for teams, I feel bad for the Titans because – there will be no let off. No, nothing, not an inch will be given.
Yeah, no, and the thing about the Chiefs game is that could do a lot to decide home field advantage in the playoffs later on because
that's only Week 3.
Yeah, I know. But, if they end up with the same record, that's the tiebreak. So I think that game, even though it's Week 3, is going to carry a lot of weight deciding playoff seeding. And if we don't have to go to Arrowhead in the playoffs, I would be very happy with that.
All right, so I'm going to do this, Glenn. I'm going to do my way too early predictions, and I'm going to give them to you. If you want to join me here, I'd be more than happy.
Well, mine will be quick. You want me to go first?
Don't do it.
16-0, Jimbo. Undisputed, undefeated, never lost is what I'm saying when I look down.
Are you being serious?
I'm being dead serious. Honestly, I know it won't happen. But when I look down and I just count game by game, the Chiefs game is the only one where I have pause and get nervous. But since it's at home and since it's Monday night, I have confidence that we will just edge them out a little bit. But other than that, it's as good. Pittsburgh's going to be a lot better because they're going to have Big Ben back. That's a guarantee. But I just don't think they have the horses outside of Big Ben. I'm not terribly afraid of their running attack. I mean, McFarland, I love McFarland. He's a Terp. But he doesn't keep me up at night. I mean, let's be honest. Juju showed to me that he's a number 2 and a good, very, very good number 2, but he's not a number 1. I don't think Claypool is going to be that guy. Their defense played really good last year, especially after they got Fitzpatrick, but they don't have the run defense I think that they're going to need to take on our offense. I mean, we saw what RG3 and Gus Edwards did to them in a Week 17 matchup. They couldn't stop them too. Imagine Dobbins, Ingram, and Lamar, and then your boy Gus cleaning up. I mean, I just don't see. So I look down here. The only way they lose is if they beat themselves in pretty much every matchup. So 16-0, Jimmy. I mean, what do you want from me? It's way too early to do predictions anyway, so that's why I'm doing it like that.
Oh, gosh. All right, well, I can't say I'm going to do you one better because I don't know how you can do any better than 16-0. But I'm going to tell you who we're going to lose to really quickly. I hate doing this. We're going to lose to Indy.
After a bye? We never lose after a bye, Jimmy.
Indy, mark my words.
Jimmy, it's after a bye. Look at his record. Okay, go ahead.
We're going to lose to Indy. We're in Indy. I think they're going to be a really competitive team. And I think we're going to – I mentioned the Browns game, Week 1. Look, those are the only 2 games that I can legitimately say that I think we have a chance.
What about the Jags? You called that – what about the Jaguars?
I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm saying it's a trap game as in it could happen.
I got you.
I don't think the Jags score more than 3 points on us. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
The only reason I see the Indy game, you're right, we're coming off a bye. We're going to be in Indianapolis. I think that will make the difference. I think they're going to have a really good run game with Taylor, and I think Phillip Rivers is going to be able to manage the game, and I think they'll squeak one out.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Philly game could be interesting, Week 6 at Philly, even though it's not very much of a road game. I mean, it's just a bus ride up the road there. But I could see them being tough. You know, they got Jalen, they got Rager, they got the running back Miles Sanders they're really high on. And if at Week 6, I think there's a good shot Carson Wentz will still be playing and still be healthy. If this was Week 16, we might be having a different conversation.
I tell you what, if we have Jadeveon Clowney, though.
Oh, he's going to be having flashbacks.
But
yeah, so I mean, it's good. Good. Everything you happy with the schedule? I'm happy.
Couldn't be happier. I tell you what. And if they go 16-0, Glenn, I will come on air, and I will sing. I will serenade you to the cows come home.
Oh man, that's not. Will you dress up for it too? I want you to be dressed up in a suit and singing.
Suit and tie. Look, I'll be pressed and ironed. Everything will be good to go. And I'll serenade you like Frank Sinatra.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Are you saying the Browns won't go? Will they go above 500?
Look, this is what I will definitively say right now about the Browns. They are not making the playoffs.
Okay.
They're not. I think they're going to be third in the AFC North.
I'll take that one. If they are third in the AFC North, you're getting a serenade right back at you. Is that fair?
Fair.
All right. Now, if they're fourth, serenade no. No, I'm just No, I was just playing. All right, well, that's it for this one, guys. We hope you enjoyed it. If so, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. And, we'll talk to you soon. See you.